Start over. Okay, we're gonna start over. Maybe I'll just, for the YouTube, I will start it at this point. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Starting 8 minutes late, but that's okay. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the big news. It's been kind of a normal work week, or a few weeks, normal work weeks for me, which is nice because if you all recall, I've been off in Poland and traveling and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So it's kind of nice to be back into normal work period. So the big, I shouldn't say big news, but yeah, one interesting bit of news the last week or so is somebody figured out how to crash the game by sending a corrupt game packet. And so they started, I assume they're still doing it. I haven't checked for sure, but yeah, there's someone out there shooting corrupt game packets at anything on the public server list. So if you're running a public server and you start to see weird like type 11 errors and crashes and weird messages about incomplete packets and stuff, just update your server if at all possible. So there's new 1.7.41 is immune from the issue. So if you are able to run a newer server, if you're running a server, just grab one of these, and they should be resilient to all sorts of fun attacks. So yeah, so that's that. All my servers are back up online. Everything should be good. It's a bummer though. I mean, I don't know who's doing that. Some people have suspicions, but it's a bummer because there's some older servers out there that, you know, are probably not really able to be updated easily. So it's just kind of crappy of them to be doing that. But I am not sure. Somebody mentioned they suspected who it might be, but I haven't really followed up on it. Are any of you guys, are any of you running a server that is still being affected by that or whatnot? I was trying to think like what would be the right thing to do in this situation. I guess like we could report them to their ISP or something. You know, because I'm sure they're running this script from, you know, an AWS instance or something like that. So I don't know what the right thing to do is. I mean, for me, the right thing to do is always just make the game immune to the stuff. And it is now, but you know, I feel like it's good to like discourage that sort of behavior. So if you can get them like kicked off their AWS account or something, like maybe that's, who knows, or whatever. I mean, who knows what servers they're using to run this. It could just be something they're running from like their laptop at home. Because it really is, it's pretty simple. Like one game packet, the game did not digest it properly. It makes the assumption that like a certain little, it's in the, I put it in the change log here. If you're interested in the nerdy details, 17, yeah, here we go. So on the C++ layer, the low level stuff, it's accessing a particular like JSON value that comes in and just making the assumption that it's like a string or an integer or something. And so what the hacker did is like they're sending something different in the place of that, and then that causes the CJSON C++ code to crash. So a very simple little attack, and it was pretty easy to fix once I saw what was happening. It was just like a dumb mistake that had been in there for probably years. But yeah, in general, like it seems like with hackers and, you know, online attacks and stuff, like the best course is just try to protect against them. But yeah, if anyone like knows who it is, or if you have a server that's still getting attacked and you want to just like grab the IP address and, you know, we could at least report them or something like that. I don't know if that would be useful at all. Or like you said, if they're hiding their tracks well, who knows? Why is Bomb Squad so laggy? This is, a timeless question. I think I would say there's two reasons that Bomb Squad often can come across as laggy, both of which are my fault. I would like to fix both of them. One of them is that it uses a decent amount of data, like it sends out a lot of physics data that doesn't need to probably be sent out. Like there's smarter ways to do it. I was on a call this week with my AWS reps. So I have some new reps. I was talking to them about like how I'm using AWS, all the servers all over the world and things like that. And they actually asked me about that. Like, we see you're using a lot of data. And so I was like, yeah, that's because my physics stuff. So anyway, the first thing is the game probably uses more data than it needs to. And the second is the game doesn't have client prediction. And so I'm hoping to client prediction is like this magic thing that online games have where they basically, your local copy of the game is like simulating in the future. You're sort of in effect seeing what's going to be happening in a half of a second or, like in 200 milliseconds or something. And that's kind of a magical way where it can make it feel like instantly responsive. So you might be seeing something happening on your screen that is not actually happening on the server yet for, 0.2 of a second or something. It's kind of mind-bending and Inception-y, but yeah, that's another thing that I would like to get in there. I'm hoping in like Scene V2 or, coming up at some point. So anyway, the long story long is hopefully at some point the game will respond better to latency. Right now, basically, if you have a really good connection, it can be okay. But if you're playing on a phone or kind of a laggy connection, it can get pretty laggy. So apologize. I'll do what I can to fix it. In a fight, who would win, Bomberman or Spaz? These are the important questions. That's a good question. I don't know. That's it. They're both good with bombs. Bomberman, what? Get out. No, just kidding. Uh-oh, Roadmap Seagull's showing up. I must have missed something. First reaction when you realize you had fans. It's like, what's wrong? I don't know. It's kind of cool. I love it. I mean, I love being able to just hop on here on Discord and do these little chats and have people like listen. I'm like surprised. But yeah, it's neat. I don't know. It's fun. Honestly, I've mentioned this before, but for me, it's very inspiring to see that people are interested in the game or whatnot. It helps keep me hard at work, working on it as slow as I may be. Bomb Squad animations procedural. Yes, they are. They are all like everything in the game it's basically Spaz is just a bunch of springs connecting little masses, and to do any sort of animation, it's just a bunch of math. Like to make him run, it's just like a sine and cosine function there's a little like target point that his foot tries to get to with springs. And so we just, rotate that in a circle and that causes his foot to kind of look like he's running. So it's a tricky way to animate, but it's kind of neat because it basically ties in cleanly with the ragdolls and stuff like that. So, I feel like in some games it's very obvious where, maybe less so these days, like everything's getting better, but it's always very obvious when it's like, oh, this is a motion capture animation of some cool punch, attack, move, or whatever. And then when you die, it's very clearly your dude just like flipped into ragdoll mode. Like it just goes from animation mode to ragdoll mode. So I wanted to try to have something where it's not as black and white, where it's like kind of always a ragdoll, but animating at the same time. So that was what I was going for. It looks a little weird sometimes, but I'm mostly happy with it. Aw. Friends in LAN. It's good to hear people still playing LAN games and whatnot. I mean, when I wrote the game, it was like it didn't have really online multiplayer at all. It was really just to play with friends, like sitting on a couch sort of thing. So it's nice to hear that some folks still can play it that way. That's been like a big overarching goal, is to try to move it more online, because that's how most people play games these days, including myself. Sadly, like I wish I had more opportunities to have 6 friends over and play games, but not too often anymore. So yeah, online is the way to go. A dog-like character called Sparky. Ooh, that could be cool. It's funny how many like animal suggestions or animal requests I've gotten for characters. I should have saved those emails. This was like 10 years ago when I started adding new characters in the store, and then I would get emails like, please add a bear. I feel like that was a common one. Everyone wanted a bear. So at some point, yeah, we got a bear. What clay plasticine? I don't even know. It's probably like several different brands. It's just like that oil-based clay. The one noteworthy thing is when I started making the game, I was making them out of colored clay. But at some point I just transitioned to doing it all with gray. Because I found it's pretty easy to color things in Photoshop. And then also in the game anyway, like they need to be multiple colors. So, and also working with colored clay, if you have worked with that oil-based clay, you find it's kind of messy, and it's pretty hard to keep a colored like pure. So if you have like yellow or something, it's gonna wind up with a bunch of like brown smudges in it, and it at the end of the day, it wound up better to just I took the colored clay I had and I just mashed it all together, and so now I just have a ton of gray clay. But also, you can buy like a giant bricks of gray oil-based clay pretty cheap. So I had this giant brick of gray clay sitting in my closet for a while, waiting for my next characters. So I'm excited to use that. How to enable Bomb Squad Discord rich presence in the new version. Okay, so yeah, this is another exciting update. Is Loop has been tirelessly working on wiring up the Discord social SDK. So Discord, it turned out like some people have implemented like Discord integration using Python in the past. There's been like plugins and things. But apparently it was only a few months ago that Discord released this new social SDK, it's called, where you can do all sorts of cool stuff, like basically sign into the game with Discord and integrate Discord chats and all this other stuff like into a game. And we haven't, I'm not sure like where exactly it'll go, but right now Loop has got it to where it's basically the basics are wired up, where you can have it sign in with your Discord account and it'll show up as like you're in the game. I'm actually not super clear on what's wired up yet and what's not, so you can see here there's various things we have. What I will probably be like doing a polish pass on it at some point, and also wiring it up to be like an official account login method, which should be super cool if you're playing one of the versions of the game that doesn't have like Google Play or Game Center logins or anything like that. I'm sure a lot of people, download like the Windows test builds and they see, oh, I have to create an account. Like, screw that. I feel like that's kind of a friction point. So this will be kind of nice. You can just sign in with Discord, quick and easy. The hope is to make some way where if you're already signed in with another account, you can just like add Discord to that account. Basically, that'll like it'll automatically like link a Discord login to your existing account. That's the hope. So anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm not answering your question at all, just talking about Discord, but right now you'd have to ask Loop and them. I don't think there's actually technically a button yet. It's probably like a function you have to call. It's very much like work in progress. But it might be possible to test it. Also, you have to build the game yourself. It's not, so there's a few steps involved here. The test builds don't have it wired in yet. I will get that going, like I said, as soon as it kind of gets polished up a little bit. And then at some point there, it'll be very obvious. It should just be like either log in with Discord or sign in with Discord, or like a connect to Discord if you're already signed in, which will like add your Discord login to your current account or something. But I'm kind of excited about that. I mean, right now we're just using it for basics. I think the plan is, just to show that you're in a game or that you're playing Bomb Squad or whatnot. But like I said, this SDK is pretty new, and they have a bunch of cool stuff with it. Like, it sounds like they're planning maybe integrated voice chat and stuff like that, which that would be kind of neat. Also, there's they have something where you can kind of wrap an existing account with like a Discord account. It's called provisional accounts. And so that basically means like you can use Discord functionality without having a Discord account like from the game. So that got me, got wheels turning in my head, thinking like this could be a potentially neat way to implement, say like voice chat, just in the game itself, if people wanted that, as an option. Just go through Discord's tech. Don't have to like use some crazy startup company that who knows if they'll be there next year. I imagine Discord's sticking around. So yeah, it could be a way to get some neat social features into the game without even requiring you to have a Discord account. So more coming up on that as we go. Anyway, I should stop rambling about Discord though. But yeah, well, one more bit is as 1.9 once I finally get 1.8 done, the focus of 1.9 is all going to be about just online and squads and kind of the social aspect, like getting games online. And I think the Discord stuff will be really nice there. Like if you could hop into the Discord server and just like invite someone straight to your party from Discord, and whatever features we can enable, like that would be great. my whole goal with 1.9 is to make it as easy as possible to get friends into a game with you, without having to like coordinate and find a server and whatever, So anyway, more on that later. Can we have a collaboration? What sort of collaboration? I always like collaborating. Well, I do, and collaboration's great. One thing I've learned over the years is like be a little not cautious with collaboration. If I'm working with like startups and things like that, there have been, I probably told these stories before, but I've learned some lessons with like working with startups that have cool tech that we need to integrate, but a lot of times with startups, like I said, they're not there in 2 years, or it's like you gotta pull that stuff out a year later. I feel like it's made me more cautious in integrating things with the game, or working with startup-y stuff. Anyway, collaboration with other games. Yeah, that's something that would be super cool. And that once again depends on me finally getting 1.8 done. So probably everyone knows at this point, but 1.8 is all about downloadable stuff, asset packs, and being able to basically add new stuff to the game without releasing a new game. And so, once that's in place, I'm excited for stuff we can add. The first few things are going to be or the first thing at least, will be thanks to Mr. Sock here in the audience. So still, Betty.zip is still on my desktop, so that's still the plan for the first. I mean, it might actually be before downloadable assets, once I can get through some of these side quests that I've been distracted on. But I'd love to start adding some fun characters, or collaborations with other games or something, have some little guest appearances in Bomb Squad. That'd be super cool. But it's hard to say. Like it does seem like a lot of games, I don't know, like you look at Fortnite and there's like Star Wars stuff or like everything in the world shows up in the game. I kind of feel like at some point it kind of becomes too much. That becomes like it doesn't have its own flavor anymore. Not that Bomb Squad necessarily has its own flavor or anything, but it's like if most things you see in the game are things from other games, like I feel like at some point you kind of like you lose the game itself maybe. I think I think everyone is hyped. Yo, bye, Baxter. To move their hips, or is there a bottom object that does the count? I believe there's like an upper torso and a lower torso rigid body, and so like the lower torso kind of moves, and that winds up being kind of like their hip movement. Sometimes it's like weird. You'll be standing and like the hips will be like just because of how like the physics is working, hips will be just like rotating strangely, like they're doing some sort of groovy dance. Yes, Sock Betty will be in there as soon as I can get her in there. I mean, that's just on me, like getting distracted with other things. And there's one or two things that I mentioned this last week, but it's still kind of on the top of my to-do list or near the top of my to-do list, is getting chest rewards in public servers and kind of reworking the store system so that it can, basically just reworking the store system to use like my new master server and stuff like that. The store is like, that's one thing in the game which it's like the same store that's been in there since like 1.4, and it all like goes through my old like V1 master server, so it's really tricky to make changes. A big goal of mine is just to kind of revamp this so it's just more open-ended, talks to my new server. I can just like make server changes which will affect like what shows up in the store, things like that. So I'd love to get that in place. So then, hopefully the first use of that would be Betty showing up here at some point. Maybe a new tab. Maybe it'll be like, I'm expecting her to show up probably as the first item in the kind of new Pro replacement. So Bomb Squad Pro, as many of you know, was just like the $3 or $5 like starter pack sort of thing that's been in the game for a long time. And I do intend to replace that with kind of a seasonal starter pack or a seasonal Pro pack. Name is still forthcoming, but it'll just be something that maybe once per season, it'll just be like a new set of things that you can get. Hopefully new characters every time. We'll see. But yeah, that's my hope for Betty, is that she'll be like the first, featured in the first like season pro pack, which will require the new store. So you can see it's like, that's why I'm like blocked on the new store, wanting to get that done. So new store and chests for servers, and then finishing 1.8. That's basically the overall thing. I have been getting off on a little bit of a tangent working on asset packs, just kind of polishing up asset packs a little bit, since asset packs is basically the main feature of 1.8. So I feel like it's okay that I work on them a bit. One thing that's kind of exciting is I've added a new type to asset packs. So right now I think I've done demos before of kind of how asset packs will work. Is basically you'll create a workspace. It'll be kind of a special magical workspace called like an assets workspace. If we do assets testing, yeah, assets v1 workspace. And that means you can drag like JPEG files or PNG files in there, set some stuff, texture quality, whatever. And then this whole workspace will bake out into an asset pack that you can just use on your server or use from the game. And then anyone else who connects to your server will automatically grab that asset pack. And so essentially this is how I intend to replace like all the existing assets of the game will be replaced by asset packs, which should just be super, super neat. So servers will be able to do a whole lot more than they're doing now. But one thing I added in the last week, getting a little ahead of myself, but just kind of for fun, is a new asset type for asset packs, which will be strings. So for a long time, I've wanted to replace the old translation system. We have like the old, a lot of you know, there's the janky old translation system that everyone has been graciously contributing to for many years, this old thing. But I kind of want to replace this with something better, or at least something more like cleaned up and modern. So I've been starting to add them to asset packs, which means like if you want to add your own translations, if you're making a server, you want to add various things that show up in the game, and you want to have them show up in everybody's native language, you'll be able to do that. And so that's what is, there's a rough version of that here now, which is kind of neat. They're just like B-string files, which are actually literally just JSON files under the hood, but you can add them through the workspace UI, and right now it's all just using ChatGPT for translation, so which is working pretty well for basic things. I'm curious if there will be a need. My thought is that there will be some way to like override particular languages if you want to like specify the exact strings. In a lot of cases that might not be necessary though, or maybe something like have community contributions for some of them or something like that, kind of tying in like the old ways, but we'll see if that's necessary. But it's pretty neat. I'll do a little demo here of like if you wanted to have a big button that says potato in your game, as one might. So we can do add string potato test. I think I already have potato in here already. Added. So potato test. Translate a word for potato. That's my default. So you just give it some instructions, blah, blah, blah. Let's do all languages, generate translations. Right now it charges like tokens every like 25 translations because ChatGPT costs money, so I can't have it be totally free. I'll try to just make this like cover my costs, or not crazy expensive. Okay, there we go. Took a few seconds, but 39 translations generated. So now if we come in here, English is potato, and every other language is set here. So if you speak another language, make sure this says potato. But anyway, this is kind of cool. So it should be a really easy way to support, just adding your own stuff to your own mods and having it show up in like every language out there. Yay! All right, Arabic says potato. Oh yeah, that's one thing I'm looking into. It does seem to be a little inconsistent with capitalization. So what I'm planning on doing, this part isn't wired up yet. I have this like style here. So I was gonna have like some preset style things for like different things in the game. Like title would be like you intend to use it on a button or a window, so it would probably always be capitalized. Description might be like like sentence form. Intense is like all caps, and subtle would be like all lowercase, at least in English. So I don't know what the equivalents would be in other languages, but hopefully ChatGPT does. So I was experimenting a little bit with, let's see, there's some experiments here. Oh yeah, here. So if you did like title, it would probably, maybe it would just like give that instruction at the end. And so this little test for hot dog, it seemed to, in this case, it seems to have consistent like capitalization here. Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog. Buccaneer dog. So yeah, and I was talking about Google Translate. The reason for using ChatGPT is because you can give it context. Like I wouldn't want to do something like this with Google Translate. For simple words like this, like give me the word for carrot. Yeah, it works, but in other cases, I feel like context makes a big difference. There's a lot of words that can mean multiple things, and it might translate the wrong one. So just being able to specify exactly like what the word will be used for, I think that will be helpful. And also, if we do have the option in any of these to like have a human like override them, like those the descriptions are also useful for humans. So anyway, this is kind of my nerdy thing. If anyone wants to play with this stuff and just give me feedback on like what you think would work well and wouldn't work well, or like phrases that work well, you can totally. I just made it publicly available, even though it's still like in progress and things will probably break. You'll probably have to like delete strings and recreate them. But if you want to play with these asset workspaces, I showed how to do this before. There's been one change though. Like basically you need this workspace.json file in your workspace. It used to be a workspace.toml file, but I decided JSON would probably be better for this purpose, so it's JSON now. So if you can see here, the important part is this. So if you have a JSON file and you have type assets v1, workspace.json, type assets v1 in the dictionary. None of this other stuff matters. If you have that, then you should see you have an assets v1 workspace, and you should get all the options like add, string, or, well, I guess there's only this option right now. Or you can drag like a JPEG file in, and it should give you like the quality options and stuff like that. So anyway, this is how, it's very much still in progress, but this is how like asset package builds will work. It's just now you'll be able to include translated strings too. Also, the other neat thing is, we are generating these translations, which these are the ones that are currently in the V1 translator. But we can just as easily add any other languages here too. The only downside is I wouldn't really want to add them if we don't have all the V1 translations. So if there's a language you'd like to translate, or if you know someone who does, we need to probably get the V1 translations done first. So I can add languages in here manually, and then you just have to translate like 2,000 entries, no big deal. I will probably once the V2 system starts working decently well, I can start converting things over from V1 potentially, and then if theoretically we got like most everything converted over, then theoretically we could add new languages without requiring people to do all this work. So we'll see. Why hasn't the Persian language been released for the PC version yet? So this comes up a lot, and the reason for that is that the game out of the box does not have the ability to draw Persian characters, or it has a few textures bundled which have basically English and Roman and Cyrillic characters. So languages like English or Spanish or like Russian even can be depicted, but in order to show other languages like Chinese or Arabic or Persian, the game has to be able to like draw Unicode characters. Like it has to be able to draw like the entire Unicode range, which like it has to rely on the operating system to do that. And so that has to be like wired up specifically per platform. And so right now it's wired up for Android and it's wired up for Apple stuff. It's not yet wired up for Windows. And so that's kind of one of the major missing pieces for the Windows build right now, is getting it to draw be able to draw Unicode characters, like having Windows do that for it. If anyone feels ambitious, I can point you where that code is if you want to play with it. Otherwise, it's just something that I need to do. I haven't prioritized it. I will definitely get that in there before there's an official Windows build, like before it's out on Steam. It's just not in there yet. So like Windows and Linux builds are not able to show those characters. That's why you can't select those languages. If you hack the Python and make it so you can select those languages, you'll see that there's a whole lot of just empty strings because it's like, I can't draw that. I'm just going to leave that empty, unfortunately. So I want to get that in there. It's just that it's another side quest. It's an important side quest, but yeah, I've been just pushing that off. So apologies. Oh, has my mouse been getting big? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a Mac feature. When you lose your mouse, you can just shake it. I actually use that a decent amount. It's like, where the heck did my cursor go? Working interiors, what? Oh, I guess you posted this.
Workspace.json, type assets v1 in the dictionary. None of this other stuff matters.
Why am I in this video?
If you have that, then you should see you have an assets v1
Oh wait, whoa.
workspace in the dictionary.
I didn't.
None of this other stuff matters.
That's super cool.
If you in the dictionary, none of this other stuff matters. If you have that.
Oh, I'm continually amazed at like what y'all pull off with this very limited in certain ways engine. So super cool. Yeah, bravo. Bravo, Sock. Bravo. Oh, yeah, this is a good example. Yeah, start to, yeah. Yeah, there's one other thing I'd like to do. Since we're plugging this stuff into AI, we can give it kind of more specific, detailed instructions, and it'll hopefully listen to them. I do find with human beings translating, it's it's kind of all over the board. Some translations are good, some seem not so good. But anyway, what we should be able to do is hopefully get like numeric translations better to where, you have a translation where it's like 1 point or 2 points or 3 points. Like in English, you say the word point differently for 1 versus 2. In other languages, it's like totally different rules. But my hope is that we'd be able to make a translation where it translates like all of those options, and basically it's like you'd have the L string, and you basically just say like, hey, display this string for 3 points, and it will show the right thing. It'll be like 3 points or 1 point. So hopefully we can get like some of those like slightly fancier rules in for at least like plural stuff, where it'll actually embed like multiple versions of the string. Please add guns. Guns would be fun. I feel like it'd be fun to have like a weird little goofy laser weapon, or just some plasma rifle or something like that. I wouldn't want the game. It would be interesting if the game just became like more gun centric, like as a mini game or something, just kind of like a like Mickey Rog was showing, or someone was showing, yeah, like there were old mods that were all like gun based and stuff. It was kind of fun. It was like a different style of play. So I wouldn't want to like lean too much in that direction, but like having a little bit of stuff like that would be cool. Yeah, Kronk, he was just like, I basically just recorded a long string of gibberish, and just one little snippet of it just happened to sound like potato. So that's where that came from, but it's become part of the lore, so. So stuff like making a map maker. I mean, my hope with the asset package stuff is at first it will be very simple. It's like, oops, what am I doing? I always forget like how to use my own UI. Asset packages are just for like publishing stuff, but when you're actually building it, that's workspaces. Um, so for now, this will probably be very simple where it's like you drag JPEG files in and that will give you a texture. You drag like OBJ files or Blender files or whatever in, and that will give you a Bob file or Cobb file. So it's not going to be like a high level thing for now, but then we could build like a high level thing on top of it later if we wanted. But for the first version, like 1.8.0, asset packs are basically just going to deal with like low level assets. That should be useful though, because I mean it should take a lot of the work out of, right now if you want to create a mod with your own assets, you have to convert different texture formats. Like if you want to be on the desktop version, it's DDS files. If you want to be on the mobile versions, I forgot the files. There's different formats, blah, 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 blah. So this should take all of that out of your hands, which is nice. You just drag a PNG or a JPEG or whatever in here, and you don't worry about what the format is under the hood. But yeah, then on top of that, it would be cool to maybe make like an in-game editor or something. My hope would, I feel like what I would like to do is just support modders who would want to make something like that, because I feel like there's different styles of games, or I don't know if it's a good question, like whether it makes sense to have like one. I guess Unreal does that. There's like an Unreal editor, and like any game using Unreal can use that editor. So I guess it's possible to just have like a single editor to rule them all. But I would wonder if it'd be fun to just make like different simple editors. Like this is an editor for Onslaught games or something. Like you can plan out exactly where and when people spawn or something. So I don't know, but I'd love to support the community making stuff like that. Is I guess maybe my point. I feel like I could see that being something that would like suck up a year of my time or something, and so I'd rather support other people making cool stuff like that by just like building the infrastructure they could use. Oh, you're welcome. Modders are awesome. I feel like for me that's the most fun part of the game right now is just supporting modders, or like trying to get to a point where modders can just make super awesome stuff. I mean, they already can make super awesome stuff, but where they can do it more easily and share it better. I feel like that's kind of been my biggest motivation in the game. Getting more online centric play, and then also like enabling modders. That's kind of my big thing. Paper airplane map. Ooh. But yeah, there's I don't know, so many ideas about like it'd be cool to have an app to make it easy to like scan clay stuff, to turn that into or like scan something on your desk using AR to easily turn that into a map. So many ideas. Just need to keep going. Tell us your monthly earning. At the moment, not amazing. I need to. That's why I'm in the process of switching the game over to the whole like tokens system or whatnot. And there's not like, I feel like when the new store comes in, hopefully the game will be back in the green. Right now it's like break even-ish or a little bit lower in terms of income. Not to talk too much specifics, but yeah, there's a lot of server costs per month and things like that are some thousands of dollars, and so the game brings in some thousands of dollars, but right now it's like those numbers are very similar, so I need to get it back to where the game is making a bit more. My salary with the game, like it has always strangely made kind of a normal single person salary for me. Like I'm not getting crazy rich and living on a yacht or anything like that, but it's also nice. It means I don't have to like push sales and stuff too hard in the game, I think. So as long as it makes enough money for me, and it's close to that right now. That's the thing with like games and stuff you learn working in industries like this, is like there's feasts and famines. Not that it's a famine, but sometimes it's making like good money, and then like a few years go by and it dwindles a little bit, and then it goes back, and yeah, it's like ups and downs, so you gotta like save and prepare for that and all that. But I'm living in San Francisco, which is a very expensive city in the U.S. So it's doing well enough for me to live in my city that I love here. So I can't complain. Oh, you're talking about how like workspaces work? It's yeah, there'll be. I mean, we can iterate on like how, like my goal is to start using workspaces for everything myself, and I'm sure once that happens, I'm going to realize like, wow, this is hard to use, or like I really need a button that does this. So I'm hoping to dog food this. There's a term dog fooding in tech or in software development, where it's basically like you're using your own tools, which is always a good thing because you realize, I feel like you can't really realize what problems are with something until you've actually tried to use it yourself. And so once I'm dog fooding workspaces and asset packs for a while, I think hopefully I can get them pretty slick. Is my hope. I'm pretty. I feel like I'm kind of OCD in terms of my like workflows and stuff. So if something is janky and I have to like do a lot of manual work every time I want to tweak something, I will usually spend a disproportionate amount of time making it so I don't have to do that. So I will try to do that as much as possible with workspaces and asset packs. My ideal flow here is that maybe drag a bunch of stuff in and then be able to run just a single command from the command line to like build and download that asset pack and launch the game to test it or whatever. Or theoretically, like wouldn't even have to like relaunch the game. Depending on how this is set up, it might just be like, if you're working in an asset pack. Oh, that's right. I already have some of that. Like with asset packages, there's like dev versions. So a dev version basically means if you publish a dev version of an asset pack, it basically means like use the current version of the workspace. And so then if you set the game up to use that dev version, then every time you launch the game, it will like download the latest workspace and stuff. So I feel like that is kind of like the workflow I want, where it's basically like save a texture or save a script, push that to the workspace, launch the game, see the update, stuff like that, like a very tight loop. It's only not good in toilets. That's a good. OCDs do seem to be helpful in some cases, but they do, if you're not aware of them or if you let them like control you too much, I feel like that's a bad thing. I feel like to me that's maybe I have to be a little conscious of that sometimes. I just want to like polish. I think this is a very common thing with software developers. You just want to like everything to be perfect and nitpick, and I know I do that plenty. Sometimes it's a matter of like, stop it, Eric. Just it's good enough. Stop. Do you ever need beta testers? Honestly, that's kind of, there's not like an official list of beta testers. It's like anyone who is messing with test builds, like you are, whether you like it or not, you're a beta tester. If you report problems you're seeing with the game, even on like the latest releases, like you're kind of a beta tester. I guess it feels bad to call them beta testers. I feel like I aim to try to have the game mostly be stable when I like push it out to Google Play, but I feel like there is less testing involved before I push the game to Google Play than probably like a normal studio would have. I'm mostly like, oh, it seems to work. Let's just do an update. And because there's upsides to being, small and flexible, and that like if it doesn't work, if something does break, I can usually push another update pretty quickly to fix it. Occasionally it bites me where I'll push a totally broken update, and then like there's a day or two where I'm just like, everyone who downloads this has a broken game. But that doesn't happen too often. But anyway, beta tester is always welcome. There's if you come into downloads, you can sign up for Google Play open testing. So if you're running the Google Play version, you can get test builds. Most of the time, those are the same as release builds. Like whenever I push a new build of the game, I always push it to the test track and then to the release track. But if there are, like when big things are coming up, I will sometimes push it only to the test track for a day or two just to see if there's breakage. So if you really want to live on the bleeding edge, you can be an open tester. Or like I said, or just usually whenever I'm pushing there, I will usually also push test builds here. So any of those builds, you're kind of, running the latest and greatest, potentially bleeding edge stuff. Yeah, we don't have any proper. I mean, a while ago I did a demo for how to use workspaces. Like you can actually get the assets into like your own build of the game right now. It's just a little, it's a little janky. You can kind of just like replace existing assets in a janky way. Very soon though, there will be like a much more proper way to do it. So I think I'll do a proper tutorial at that point of like workspaces and asset packs. The first thing will be basically me replacing all the game assets with that. So I'll probably do a tutorial on like if you want to do your own spin-off build or like a mod of the game, and you want to replace the assets with your own assets, here's how to do it. And then right after that will be downloadable asset packs, that's the last big thing for 1.8 is being able to run a server with downloadable asset packs and have everyone else get those asset packs. So hopefully not too far off in the future, but yeah, always so much to do. Version 8, big custom maps. That could be a good idea. I mean, that's just that comes down to like one of those questions of, I would love to do that, but like, is that worth my time sort of thing? If maybe it would be at that point. My thought is like when 2.0 finally rolls around, like at that point I want to pour a decent amount of time into making some new trailers and things like that. But I'm not sure for like 1.8. Part of my thought is just getting it out there and then, word of mouth will spread, or like it'll just maybe, get some attention on its own. But yeah, maybe a trailer or something, or even something simple could be good. That's definitely one of those tricky questions being like a indie developer is like, how much time do you spend on, like marketing and stuff like that. I do feel, I've mentioned this before, I do feel very lucky that the game gets a lot of organic downloads for whatever reason. It's just kind of like wound up in the algorithm where on Google Play there's a lot of downloads every day. So I'm pretty happy there, so I don't feel like I need to advertise and pay money for ads or anything like that to get the word out. Knock on wood. I mean, that the scary part is like that's some mystical algorithm somewhere in some Google server, and it could change at any point. So I'm just hoping it doesn't. That would, like, honestly, if something did change and like my downloads just plummeted, I'd probably have to just launch the iOS version quicker or something in like a half-baked state, and I'd, prefer to not do that. So I'm riding this wave as long as I can. No, 1.8 will definitely be a thing. I do get sucked into some of these little side quests, which probably should be part of 1.9, but I have been adding them in 1.7.x. But yeah, my plan is 1.8 will be once downloadable asset packs are publicly available. That's like the cutoff there. So there will be a few things. I mean, 1.8 will have like the protocol breakage, because to join a 1.8 server, you're going to have to be running 1.8 because it can download assets and things like that. So it's going to be like, there'll be a pretty significant line in the sand there. So there definitely will be a 1.8. I'm not sure what the line in the sand for 1.9 will be, like once 1.8 is out, I'll probably just start testing squads mode and things like that. And I would like to kind of just slowly roll that out maybe over the course of 1.8's life. I don't know if there'll be like, once X feature is ready, then we call it 1.9. That's a good question. But that's in the future. Can't think about that yet. Go straight to 3. Yes, let's just throw everyone off. I'm hoping 1.9 will be shorter, but I can't promise anything. I know that I'm always too optimistic on things and think things will be faster than they will. I feel like from a tech perspective, all the asset packs, downloads, all this stuff that's gone into the 1.7.x, I feel like that is more work than squads mode will be. Because I think most of the tech infrastructure for squads mode is technically done in terms of, like a huge thing over the last few years is like getting all these servers running all over the place, getting there's like subscriptions, or like there's data subscriptions now. The whole thing where like these values, your token and ticket values and your rank and all that, like these are like live values from the server. Like if I change this in the database, it will update on your UI like instantly. So like cool stuff like that, which is kind of very tricky tech to get set up. Like that stuff is all ready. And those are all like things that are needed for squads mode. So I'm hoping that 1.9 won't be too crazy. It'll just be like tying a lot of things together that are already there. But everything always takes longer than I expect, so we'll see. But yeah, going back to the prop nodes thing, since 1.8 will be it'll probably be a somewhat strict protocol breakage. We definitely, before 1.8 is out, we should just have like a wish list week or something. Like get some of this stuff in there that people would really like. Like gravity scales or rotation attributes, things like that. Because as long as like we're breaking backwards compatibility, like we should add some wanted features in there. So yeah, like everyone hold that thought and don't let me release 1.8 without it. But that would be a good opportunity to get that stuff in there. Oh, we got submarines in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, there's a few submarines. Oh, that one's deep out there somewhere. A few submarines here and there. Oh, yep, there. Yeah, submarines are out in force today. Cool. Oh, God. Oh, I thought I just like killed Discord. My goal for if the game, if 2.0 launches and the game gets big enough or something like that, if we can get like a verified image of someone actually playing the game on a submarine, like my life will be complete. I can just like retire and be happy. I don't know if people are allowed to play games on submarines. I know very little about submarines. I mentioned some of this before. I was working with some friends of mine that did Zombie Gunship, which is like you're an AC-130 gunship flying around like shooting zombies in the apocalypse. But I know they got some like military folks that played their game, like sent them images of them like playing Zombie Gunship like while flying around in one of those gunships. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, we need a bomb squad player on a submarine. Though that's more obscure. I feel like the zombie gunship stuff, like everyone knows that the game is about AC-130s, so anyone in the military who plays the game is going to be like, oh, cool, this is my plane. I'm going to send them this photo. Most people don't really know the bomb squad submarine connection. It's like you'd have to be like one of the people on this server. So this is another topic that's one of my side quests. Maybe I forgot to mention this side quest. It's kind of related to the others. It's sort of related to adding chest rewards to servers. Is that I'm working on a completely new server list to replace the old existing one. So if you're, probably everyone's familiar with the public server list that's been around for quite a while now. This big giant monolithic list. So the plan is there'll be basically one replacing this that'll just have a lot more server info and it'll just be more organized. And a big part is that it will only show servers near to you. Since with V2 accounts, I can have basically a rough sense of like where you are in the world. So it can be a lot smarter. In the V1 days, like I had no idea, or at least I wasn't looking up that info. But nowadays, like this can probably just give you a list of like the nearest servers to you. And so you don't actually have to, your game won't actually have to go through and like ping every server in the world, which is really inefficient. And so yeah, so it'll probably hopefully show you maybe the ones that are physically closest to your detected location. Though in some cases your detected location, it estimates your location based on your IP address, and sometimes that's not very accurate. Like if you're playing on a cell phone or on a phone connection or something, sometimes that location will wind up being thousands of miles off. In the US, I've seen it like when I'm on the phone connection, it will detect that as being on like the east coast of the U.S. and I'm on the west coast, which is a 5-hour flight from there. So it's not always super accurate, but it's probably a good guess. It's better than not knowing where in the world you are. So yeah, I can have options. It'll probably have like regions where it'll maybe by default it'll show you whatever your detected region is. But if you want to override that, you can probably like set it to say like Europe or America or South America or whatever. So yeah, it should have some better features there. Another little side quest. Part of the reason I need to do that is just to I want servers to be a little bit more. There'll be a little bit more involved in running a server. Like you'll have to. Well, not a ton involved, but it'll be more like when you're running a server, it'll be like verified that is your server. So your server can kind of accumulate a reputation, or if people are complaining about your server, that'll stick. You can't just like relaunch your server with a new name and go about your ways. So what that means is like if you want to have your server give out like chests or something, you'll have to have like a server that's been online for a while maybe, or that has a good reputation and not downvotes and things like that. Which region has the most players? I mean, you can probably tell by the submarine map. Is it submarines? Oh yeah. Just go to ballistica.net/submarines if you want to check yourself. I would say in general, South America and India are usually the big ones. Kind of scattered throughout Europe and a little in Asia, not so much in China since their firewall and all that. Oh yeah, and a decent amount in Middle East down here. Not many in Africa, but that's a few. There used to be like nothing, so like these dots showing up here, that's kind of new. Some of these dots, a few random dots here and there. So it's kind of neat to see where the game pops up. Nothing in Australia, I think, and very little in the U.S. But that's always my assumption there is because the U.S. is very iPhone centric, so I'm guessing that at least plays a part. Not too. I mean, there's a lot of Androids here. It's something like 50-50 or 60-40 or something. So there's still a lot of Android people here, but I kind of feel like people that are gamers or use their phones intensely in the U.S. tend to be iPhone people. So that's, or the U.S. just doesn't like my game. I don't know. My home team. It's so sad. But yeah, same with Australia. I wonder if there's a lot of iPhone people there. So I'm curious to see like once the game is finally out on iOS, if or Steam or whatever, if this evens out more or like what happens. That'll be interesting to see. iPhone. Oh yeah, I'm an iPhone person. I know it makes no sense that my game is only on Android and I have an iPhone. But yeah, it's just is what it is. It's super fun. Oh, what are we talking about? What's super fun to play test? Merp. 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 It's always so tricky to like go back in time and see where they're. Merp. Porting. What's happening? Oh, oh, nice. Oh, sweet. That would be cool. Porting JRMP. Or, that's the one thing that makes me sad is anytime I have to break compatibility or bump the API version or whatever, it's like knowing that there's old mods out there that will no longer work. So I don't know, and anything people can do to kind of bring those up to date. That's super awesome. Yeah, this is my thought here. Talking about like advertising is, not to consider doing stuff like this advertising, but for me, like engaging with the community and supporting modders and stuff like that, I feel like that's in a way that's advertising because it gets people play the game and they want to share the things they made with the game, and so I feel like that's good advertising. Better than spending a ton of money to spam people with little video ads or something, in my opinion. I guess the video ads probably work in some cases, but I mentioned this before though, like for me, I think it would make zero monetary sense to put video ads out. I think you have to be one of those like free to play games that makes a lot of money for that to even like make sense. Because from what I understand, you have to pay like it's been years since I've checked, but you have to pay like $1 or a few dollars per user you gain. So if you're advertising, that's basically what it comes down to. And I make way less than a few dollars per person who plays the game, which, like I said, is fine. It's just me. I don't have to make a lot of money, but it would not make sense to pay a few dollars to get a user who's going to wind up on average paying like 1 cent or something like that. So that's why I'm glad the game gets a lot of organic downloads and modders sharing with their friends and things like that. So. But yeah, talk about that, like weird how all this could have never happened. Like in a way, like some of this does seem very random. Like I said, just the game winding up getting a lot of downloads from Google Play. Like I'm not sure how that is. I mean, hopefully it's something that the game has earned. It could be somewhat random. I'd like to think it's earned, but yeah, you never know if that algorithm had been a little different or if the timing had been different or something like that. It could have fizzled out and I'd be not doing the game today. So it's like life, these weird circumstances that lead you to the places they do. Bomb Squad is my full-time income, yeah. It's been my full-time income now for a few years I was working with friends on zombie gunship stuff, and so it was like half of my income. So I kind of had dual incomes at the time, which was kind of nice. So I saved up a decent amount of money those few years, but I worked at Pixar until 2013, and so then I've been doing the game since then. So really, 12 years minus a few years of the splitting my time. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that it's been consistently getting downloads and players for 10 or 12 years now. So yeah. Oh yeah, I got a ton of Pixar stuff. I got rid of some of my posters. That's the one thing I'm slightly bummed about is that the room I'm in right now is technically bedroom. I like to have my desk in here a lot because it's the cool like city view. So I like to work in this corner. But all like my Pixar swag and stuff, it's in the office, which is the other room. So I can't like show that off to you easily right now. I should do I should try to stream from other rooms though. I have my desk here is just like it's a standing desk, but it's also on wheels, so it's kind of nice. I can just like roll it around to different places in the apartment, which has been great. Especially like as it comes up to summer here, I'm realizing that like this corner that I'm in gets like direct sunlight in the late afternoons in the summer, and so there's no way I'd want to be working here. I'd be getting like fried. Even with like the shades down, it's like so bright. So I've been just like working out in the living room area or other places. But I do have my like Ethernet here in the corner, so I do like to stream from here just because the connection is super solid, stuff like that. So, but I could maybe run some Ethernet to other places. Or I could try streaming from Wi-Fi. Maybe that would be fine. Were there any scenes cut from movies you were developing? Oh, heck yeah. That happens all the time. When I first started at Pixar, the first movie I worked on was Ratatouille, and that had a completely different director when I started, and it was like a significantly different movie. They wound up like changing directions with it, bringing on Brad Bird. He had just done Incredibles, and so they wound up like changing a lot of stuff in that movie. So that was the reels I saw of Ratatouille at the beginning were very, very different than how the movie came out. It came out really well, and I have a lot of fun memories working on it, and it's a lot of people really liked the movie, so it worked out in the end. But yeah, it changed a lot. But that always happens. Like every movie had scenes cut. When you see it, if you're working on the show, you'll see like really like storyboard versions of it when you first start, and it's always interesting to look back on those because there's always parts that changed significantly. Oh, where do I live? I live in San Francisco, so West Coast of the U.S., upper Northern California. for a while, I've mostly lived in San Francisco since I was 18. Actually, I grew up in the middle of the U.S. in Illinois, like several hours south of Chicago, and yeah, I moved out here to San Francisco when I was 18 to go to art school. Studied computer animation, and then yeah, I wound up doing visual effects at Pixar after art school for about 10 years, and then yeah, and then the game stuff started taking off, and so then yeah, I've been doing game stuff for 12 years now. So it's weird. I've been doing this longer than I was at Pixar at this point, which is trippy. Becomes too popular, then there would be bad eggs. There's already bad eggs. Like I said, this last week, I don't know, whoever is, I don't know if they're still spamming, just trying to crash every server they can for whatever reason. I hope they're enjoying that. I can't complain about that though. There's that saying like that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it did technically fix some severe vulnerabilities in the game's networking code. So now those are closed. I'm sure there's probably some remaining, but you know, thank you, hacker, for improving the game slightly. It's just not thank you for messing with all those older servers that are no longer able to run. So that part sucks. Mom, I'm on TV. Now, in general, though, like I feel like the Bomb Squad community has been good. So yeah, I mean, no community is like without friction, but in general, it seems like, I don't know, you hear horror stories about like toxic game communities, like I don't know, and so it doesn't, I don't get that sense too much here. I know there are you know, there are problems in servers with yeah, kicking and just yeah, some like toxic players and things like that. I feel like I'm hopefully will be addressing those well with squads mode and things in terms of, you know, some technical solutions to some of that, like not being able to chat spam your opponents and stuff like that. So, or not being able to like, you won't be able to like kick your opponents, stuff like that. We'll see. It can always be improved. Oh, cool, Miami. Nice. Well, thank you for supporting the game. That is super awesome. So, like I said, this stuff is always very inspiring to me. Like when I get done with Coffee with Eric, I'm always just like, yeah, I want to get back to work. Code. Of course, I have to like upload stuff to YouTube and a few things first, but I don't spend too much time on it. I assume like anyone who streams a lot, like any popular streamers, they must have teams that are doing their editing and or something like that. You know, but like you always just get the uncut version of the 2 hours of Coffee with Eric. I'm not gonna like spend the rest of my day like editing out mistakes and things like that. So sorry, but like I said, it's one of those trade-offs. Like being a solo indie dev, it's like you got to decide like where to spend your time. I hope you feel like the Coffee with Eric frequency is okay. I know originally it was like once every week, and then for a while it was once every 2 weeks. It's still officially once every 2 weeks, though I often do kick it down the road, kick the can down the road a little bit, and it'll be once every 3 or something. It'd be nice, like hopefully maybe if 1.8 comes out, or if it gets to a point where suddenly there's a lot of like community contributions for like asset downloads and things, then maybe we could get into more like a once a week thing or something, just to like look at everything people are making. That could be fun. But yeah, right now I gotta like make the decision of like, oh, taking a chunk out of my Wednesday, is that good, or should I just like stay heads down coding? You know, like what's the best use of my time this week? It is always fun to hang out with y'all though. Filipino language. I think there is Filipino, isn't there? Am I miss? Yeah, Filipino. Is it not in the game for you, or something? It should be there. Just look for Filipino. Or is it not showing up by default for you? Like, is your phone set to Filipino? That's actually an interesting point. Is I redid how the game like automatically sets translations like a week or two ago. So if you were seeing that, if suddenly the game is like not showing up in your default language without you setting it to, like, please let me know. That was in version 1740, I think. Yeah. Because I also had to bump minimum Android from 6 to 7 for that same reason, because there's Android 7 has like a different way of storing like multi-language resources, but it's only supported in Android 7 or newer. So to use it, you have to require at least Android 7. So I kind of used that as an excuse. So the game now requires Android 7 for 1740 and newer. But it should, in some cases, be better about selecting your default language. So anyway, if you find you have a language that is supported by the game but it's not showing up by default for you, please let me know. Oh geez. Oh, sorry to hear that, Mine Shot. Which country are you in? Oh, okay, Burmese. Oh, yeah, bummer. Like I said, it is. I would love to support even like languages where there's not too many players. It's a little bit of a chicken and the egg problem right now, as they say, because that is one downside of like the human-based translation contribution thing, is that if there's not a ton of players for a certain region, it won't get translated, and so if it's not translated, there probably won't be more players. Like one substantial missing language here is Japanese. Like I feel a little bit sad because like so many, I grew up playing Nintendo and like, my favorite games were from Japan and things like that. And Japan doesn't have my game really. Well, it's 27% complete. That's not terrible, but yeah. So maybe if I get the automated ChatGPT translation stuff working better to where it can like replace the missing translations here, then like it could be cool just to be able to release the game in like every language out there, basically. If AI can do a decent job at that, like that's one upside of like AI based translations. When will we have more maps? 1.8. That is the big. If you haven't picked that up, the whole like downloadable stuff, downloadable assets, part of 1.8, that will make it possible to easily add more maps and more characters and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to get to 1.8 as, despite all the side quests, as fast as possible, and then we can start to get some new stuff in there. Basically, I have a janky pipeline for building like all my existing maps, and I really don't want to like add new stuff to that janky pipeline. Like I want to do everything with asset packages. So that's why I'm trying to go full steam ahead to get asset packages and everything fully usable for myself. And so, yeah. Oh, just invite me as friend on here. I'm slow sometimes, but I usually accept all friend requests, especially if you're, here on the server. North Koreanese. I assume like there's just one Korean language, right? Does like North Korea, do they have like a substantially different dialect at this point than like South Korea? It'd be interesting to know because they're so like segregated, right, at this point for the last 70 years. Anyway, sorry, random musing. Prefer the English version, by the way. If you prefer the English version, is that because do any of you guys like, is the translations to your language, are they like bad quality, or is it just like kind of preferring the English version because you know English decently well? Throwing their bad friends off the map. See, it's stress relief. How to get mods. I don't have good answers for how to get mods these days. I would just say like talk to people on this server. Like I don't know what the best ways to get mods are. At some point in the distant future, I mean my hope is that more mods will be online based, where it's like you'll be able to just play whatever mini games you want that are running on a cloud server, and maybe you can like add mods to them using an online UI or something. That's a ways off though. For now, it's still all about like installing mods locally. Community plugin manager. That sounds good. I know there's been a few plugin managers throughout the years. So, what is the best, or what are the most like up-to-date plugin managers? Is there one? Is that Community Plugin Manager? Cool, cool. Still work like yeah, it works on 1.7 plus and everything. Has everything been updated for the latest API version? Have I hopefully not destroyed the community too badly with that one? Cool. Yeah, like I said, I hopefully won't have to bump API version anymore, or if I do, hopefully it'll be like in a elegant way. We were talking about this a little bit last time, where the game could theoretically support two API versions overlapping. So, you know, if there was like API 10, then it would still be able to load like API 9 stuff, but like with a warning being like, hey, move this to API 10, but I'll still work with it, you know. I feel like that could be good. Just something where it's not going to like destroy mods, or it's not going to like require you to fix every mod before they work. It'll just be like, hey, please update this. Like a gentle nag. Like you have 6 months to update this mod. Planning for new games to launch on Play Store. My general plan is just to keep supporting Bomb Squad. I do want to generalize it a bit more and like add more play styles. You know, I don't want it to be like any possible game. I don't want it to be like a first-person shooter or something like that. But it would be fun to, I don't know, experiment a little bit with different gameplay. But within Bomb Squad, that's always been kind of part of the reason I made it like mini games based. Is like I like the idea of being able to experiment with gameplay without having to put out an entirely new game, you know? Just because there's so much like overhead involved there. There's so much like, you know, keeping the screenshots up to date, or submitting. If you have multiple games, then if there's a bug, then if there's like some bug in like all of your games, then you have to submit like an update for everyone. Like, to me, that just sounds like hell. Like, I'd rather just have like one game and keep adding potentially mini games to it, or platforms to it, or whatever, and support that well. That being said, there is like the whole spin-off concept. So there is the idea of being able to kind of potentially come up with like new or like different games that are still basically Bomb Squad modded. And I do want to do that at some point. I really want to replace like for simple things like Bomb Squad Remote, I want to replace that with something that's based off Ballistica. You know, just something that's basically a stripped down version of Bomb Squad that is only like an on-screen remote, but it's still built using the same code base. Like I think that would be a great like first spin-off project. That would be another side quest, so I'm trying to prevent myself from tackling that sooner than needed, but it would be, I feel like that'd be a really fun little project. I spent a lot of time getting all the spin-off stuff in there, so I'd love to kind of have a fully fleshed out demo for it. I know, so many side quests. I need like a side quest board. I can check them off when they're done. Or like some little like shocker, like maybe some like online thing where you all can go on a website and poke a button if I'm like spending too long on a side quest, and it gives me like a minor electric shock. That could be cool. How do I customize music on my computer like on Android? Yes, right now there is no, this could be a, if you're ambitious, this could be a do-it-yourselfer project, but I have not wired up any like soundtrack handler on Windows. So if you dig into the soundtrack code, there's like on Android, it talks to like the Android OS to be like, hey, play this MP3 file or play this sound file or whatever. On the Mac version, it does the same thing. It actually talks to like Apple Music app and says like, "Hey, play this playlist, play this playlist." Um, so we would just need to wire up something equivalent on Windows. That is, I mean, most of that would be on the Python layer. If we needed to add like some native calls on the C++ layer, we could. So if anyone really wants to be ambitious and try wiring that up, feel free. That's something I would like to maybe get in place before the Steam release, but it's not 100% necessary. Also, that's something I would love to just polish up in general. I'd love to like take a polish pass on like the soundtrack system and make it so it would be easy to like add a soundtrack plugin or something. Like if you wanted to make a plugin that will let you select Spotify playlists or whatever, or yeah, I don't know what other like media players would be out there or whatever. What would be fun to be able to use for Bomb Squad background music, like chip tunes. I don't know. Play the audio from YouTube videos or something. Who knows? But it'd be great to have that be like an overridable plugin thing where you could just like add a plugin and then like set your soundtrack to your favorite YouTube video, something like that. So anyway, yeah, yet another side quest that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, going back to collaborations, I would certainly be down once. I have gotten like emails and stuff before from other like indie gamers talking about like, hey, do you want to do a collaboration? We can, feature characters from each other's stuff or whatever. I'd be totally down for that. Yeah, once asset packs are working. So soon. I use that word far too much, like soon or when 1.8 is ready. See, that's why you need this button to shock me out of side quests. The like 1.8 button, just like keep working on finish asset packs, Eric. Finish asset packs. Sign in isn't working. More to get what? Oh. It should still be. I mean, I think there is nothing technically preventing you from buying that character. It's not like in the official store because it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to even like have it in the game. It was for like the Chinese release of the game, so I technically had to put it in there so that it worked for that version. But so yeah, I mean, I guess there's other like copyrighted assets in there. There's like company logos and things like that. So I would just worry if I put it in the store officially, it would get me in trouble or something. So I don't want to do that. I do need to like. It will be interesting once we get like the season pro packs or whatever, where it'll probably be token based. It would be like cost some sort of tokens, and it'll give you some like character that's like exclusive, and then maybe after that season, then maybe it'll show up in the regular store for tickets or something like that. So we'll have to see how that works. It might be like very expensive, or maybe it'll be like you can buy it for tokens, or it'll be like a crazy number of tickets or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to experiment with that. I know some people are sitting on like crazy dragon horde loads of tickets, so I should give them something they could potentially use that with. Even though some of those are acquired through shifty means like the account linking tricks and stuff. But I'm not judging. If people are taking advantage of a vulnerability, it's on me to fix the vulnerability. Though I did clamp everyone's account at 1 million tickets not too long ago, and I know some poor people that like set up crazy script setups to farm tickets using account linking that had bajillions and bajillions of tickets. It was probably a sad day for them. So I feel bad in a way, but also you don't need that many tickets. How far do you think they're done? Oh, bleh. I would say for use in replacing replacing my asset pipeline, so being able to like build the game using asset packages, I think thinking of all the tech that's gone into it, like building workspaces, building like V2 accounts, that whole network, like all that stuff. I mean, I would say like 80%, 80 or 90% or something. Like it's mostly done. It's just like wiring things up. I mean, it's been like years of work getting to this point. Maybe a little bit more on the downloadable assets, but I don't know how much more. But that being said, like 80 or 90%, that still is a significant chunk left, because considering how much work it was to get workspaces going and all my server code going and all that. It's like looking in, if you look at like my master server code here, it's like source, BA master, asset package, like a lot of the stuff that factors into those. So asset package stuff, like the whole account stuff, that's a good chunk of code. BA Cloud is involved. That's a good chunk of code. Workspaces are involved. That's a good chunk of code. Workspace UI, that's a good chunk of code. What am I forgetting? I mean, lots of this stuff is sort of related. HTML, Fleet. Bleh. Anyway, yeah, the V2 master server is a lot of code at this point. So there's not too much more that needs to happen for to finally get asset packages 100% done, but there's a bit. There is a janky chat filter that was hacked in at some point. If you're not aware of that, like ask around. It's just not like a very elegant thing, but there is something where you can like intercept all strings coming into your server and filter them with Python. So, are we playing today? Oh yeah, we should play. Sorry, it's always nice to end with some playing. People can, after watching me sound like I know what I'm talking about for a while, you can watch me play and just get my butt handed to me repeatedly. So, and end on a sour note, like, oh, Eric sucks. How much do you make money at Bomb Squad? Like I said, it's about like an average maybe software developer salary. There's ups and downs. Right now, it's not a down, but it's like it's break even right now while I'm getting my new server stuff working, which, yeah, getting there. But yeah, it's not like I'm. It's making plenty of money, which making money in games is hard. Like you'll hear that. There's some like depressing stats out there. If like for indie gamers releasing a game, it's like some small percentage of them, wind up making any reasonable money. So it's not an easy thing to do, which I've learned. So I feel very lucky that it's done as well as it has. Okay, all right, let's play. Wait, what? Oh, we're talking about like tweaking bots? Cool. All right, anyway, code. Captain AJ, where are you based? Usually it seems like if we do Europe, it's always like a nice, somewhat central thing, but anything works. I would just like avoid the US because most of y'all are not here. So I'd rather me have a little bit extra lag than you. All right. Bust out my PS5 controller. Oh, you're USA. Oh, shucks. Would soccer? Well, unless you have like a playlist you want to play with us. I just like it seems like usually like Western Europe is always a bit. It feels more kind of central to everyone. Why is Bomb Squad not available on iOS? So it's kind of a historical reasons. Is basically. I wound up releasing on Google a little earlier than I planned to because they wanted to feature the game on Android TV when they were launching that way back in the day. So I went along with that, and as part of that, I wound up just rolling out to all of Android, which was fine. But I was kind of considering that to be like a soft launch in a way. Like I was wanting to kind of like get it to 2.0 or something before I did a full launch. And here we are, like years and years later, still in that situation where basically I'm treating it as like a very extended soft launch. Like I'm still trying to get the game to where I'm happy with it. And 2.0 is basically, I want to get to 2.0 before launching on iOS and Steam. So it's not so much that I've not launched on iOS, it's that I've not launched like officially. Google, the millions of Google Play people are just kind of like a very large soft launch. I do plan, I think the Steam version will be free. that's kind of an open question. Like now that we have tokens in the gold pass, like theoretically it could be like it could just be like a paid version where you would just have a gold pass, like everyone who gets the game. So I'm kind of thinking like if the game comes out in the future on Switch, Nintendo Switch or consoles, like maybe that would make sense there, just to simplify it, because like having a pay upfront game might just work better than a free to play game on those platforms. And we could do that now, so now that we have a gold pass and tokens. But for Steam, I would imagine a free to play might still be the way to go there. As long as it doesn't like get a negative reputation because of that, because like, oh, it's just one of those free to play phone games. Let's give this a negative review. You know what I mean? Well, the thing is, if the game is going to basically give you a gold pass, it would probably need to be about the price of a gold pass. So it'd be like maybe a little bit less. But yeah, I wouldn't release it on Steam for like $3. Okay, sorry, I'm rambling here. What's... Oh, what am I doing? I always do this. Private... just like looking for a server with that name. Oh no, party is full. Sad panda. All right. You want to kick someone, or I can someone join or host a bigger server? I'll keep trying to connect here. Oh, here we are. Okay. I'm in. Oh my gosh, my lag is so not bad. Oof. Speaking of Agent Johnson, I went through the Matrix. My wife and I, we watched all the Matrix movies. I hadn't seen the fourth one yet, so we just watched that one the other night. Not that Agent Johnson is from the Matrix. He's just, reminiscent of Agent Smith for completely coincidental reasons. But yeah, I had to watch the fourth Matrix. It takes place in San Francisco, which it's always trippy to see a movie, in your neighborhood. Is someone who's just Polish? Or is that Polish? Sock, is that you? Like, what? Oof. Oh, you don't have to give Ephro a bit of time to play. No special treatment for Ephro. I'm usually like half trying to kind of like read stuff anyway or whatever, so if I'm not doing great. And I'm just not great in general. One second. Hoodie's coming off. Yeah, I kind of feel like we don't want like a super huge server. It starts to add a bit of lag. On me to fix that, of course. I feel like we usually have like 6. This is like extra intense with 8. I like epic and non-epic. I don't know. If there's like lag, I kind of like epic because it kind of cancels out the lag, makes it more about like thinking and less about like twitchy actions, which are getting messed up by lag. Speaking of epic. Huh? It's a mine barrel. The logic there was a little tricky, by the way, like coding this originally. You have to, making rigid bodies like not collide with each other only if they happen to be colliding when they're created, It's like something you don't really think about. But by default, like physics bodies, if they're overlapping, they like blow each other apart. And so you have to do some like special magical logic to make them not do that. No, I'm definitely not a pro compared to y'all. No. All right. Yeah, will do. I will accept. So, yeah, thanks for hanging. Run away. Oof. It's like, goodbye, cruel world. Okay, I can jump servers after maybe this best of 7 is over. I can hop to the next one. Or I guess it's not best of 7 after the. Oh, okay. So which server now? Efro, you suck. Whoa. It's not too laggy, but occasionally it has like a lag spike, I think. Oh, it's pretty good now. Oh, there, lag spike. Oof. Aw. I love you too, Mind Show. Where's this server at? I'm seeing 70 or 80 ping, so I assume in the US? Oh, sorry, fellow blue person. Sock, are you a war criminal? Cool. What do the Easter eggs do here? Oh, bunny. Oh, bunny friend, yes. I love the flashing owner logo. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm down. I like to experience, like, yeah, anyone's servers. You know, there's been some fun game varieties here and there, so it's nice to. So anyone who's down for hosting, if we have like enough people that want to host, I guess we have to come up with some sort of queue or something. In general, it does seem like Europe is a good place, though. I'm just saying that, like, I don't actually know for sure. It seems like there's more folks from Europe and Asia, so that's why I was saying like Europe's kind of in the middle. Though I guess I wonder, like, do we have any like South American folks here? I mean, the game is big there. I just don't. Do we have like a big number of folks playing or on the streams or the server? Or the Discord server, I mean? I guess we do. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to like mathematically see like where the optimal location for us to play would be for games like this. Oof. Urgh. Laggy McLaggerkins sometimes. I'm curious to see what these lag spikes look like. Nice wallpaper. 10 out of 10. I need to make an option for like that. Oh, there's something. Well done, well done. Oh no. Okay. Oh, this is interesting with my little buddy Eric. You don't even know which one is me. No! Whoa. How did this happen? Oh, I want to shoot my little snowball things. This is like, I feel like little fun superpowers like that work well in this mode, just because like you can clearly see what's happening. Dang, Ashton. Oh, I want cool superpowers. Oh no. For me, it seems generally good, and then it like spikes to 300 for just a moment. So I'm curious what weird networky issue is happening somewhere. Are you guys seeing that too, where it's like mostly playable, and then it just like there's a bad moment? I love the snowballs. See, there's someone mentioning guns earlier, where I feel like having a projectile weapon or two like mixed in with other stuff is kind of seems fun. You know, it doesn't have to all be about that. It's just having a little of that is a fun variation. Oh no. At least I got the clone. Close. Come down to a close ending. Dang, snowballs. Snowballs for the win. Cool. Well, that was fun. Not sure. Yeah, weird minor lag issue, but who knows what that was? Maybe some just network condition. All right, well, I'm gonna bounce for now. Or maybe one more round. We started a few minutes late. I just want to get the snowballs. It's the true reason. Ooh, 1600. Ah. I love the weird like floaty corpse effect. Whoops. I was getting a phone call. I had to check on my watch and walked off the edge. Hello, the Mr. Galwin. The Mr. Galwin. Oh no! Oh geez, that was fast. What is this, tax evasion? Oh, my phone call? Yeah, that's it. Government's coming after me. Oh yeah, that would be a good idea. Timer for flags and conquest. I feel like that could be a, if anyone wants to do that, that could be a good PR. I'd be happy to accept that. Just like an option for timed flags. It does seem like it would be an interesting variation. I assume it would have to be a somewhat short timer just to make it possible, but still. It does seem like you get some really lucky captures where you're like dying as you come in. Oof. I keep catching the like floating corpses. It like trips me out every time. You're fine with it, right? Talking about what's that? Timed flag option or something else? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm definitely. Like I said, I accept friend requests on Discord. I'm a little slow to get to them sometimes, but I will. Sweet. Whoa. What are the tickets things? I'm curious. What? What about chat window? Oh, why was that like not scrolled all the way? Is this like a persistent kill? Like what is... That's kind of cool. Yeah, that'd be super sweet. Like, it's been a while since that's been functional, I think, so that'd be awesome. Oh no! But yeah, 10 flags does seem like a bit. I feel like this is gonna be like a long round. Maybe not. I don't know. What? 3D UI challenge? Did I miss something? Okay, Sock. Good to see you. See you next time. Oof. Writing a UI designer? Yeah, I hope. I mean, there's a lot, like porting an old mod pack, there's a lot of things that have moved around basically, but like the overall functionality of the game hasn't changed too much, so hopefully it's not too much work. Just a lot of probably like porting Python 2 to Python 3 and stuff like that. What were you thinking about for the first time about the functionality of the chest? Just like my thoughts on chests in general, or what's your question? There's no stupid questions. Yes, I always put these on YouTube, so it'll be on YouTube tomorrow. It's like 2 hours long, so it takes a while to get it compressed and everything. So I always just make it available 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for me, which is later in the day for you guys. The only time I don't is when I forget to record it, but it looks like I'm recording, looking at my menu bar. So we're good. Spaz on move XY? Is that one of his methods? It's funny, like I don't, a lot of code I haven't touched in years, so it's like I have to refresh my memory. Yeah, I'd have to see, you'd have to show me it in the code. It's probably, if it's what I think it is, it's probably just when like input events come in, like from your controller or from a bot. And, you know, it just plugs directly into that, which then probably sets attributes on his node or something like that. Unless that's like it's been renamed or something like that, and that's not actually there. Like, if there's another question related, let me know. In general, like my favorite functionality is like project search. You know, if there's a function like on move, but I don't know where it went, you know, just like search the whole project. Like, okay, there it is. It's starting to get that way for me with like, there's a lot of Python modules, especially on like the server components. So it's like I can't just remember where things live. I know roughly, but I just have to like search for functions. Be like, oh, that's where I put it. Okay. Oh, okay. On move, can you show me what the error is? If there's something that needs to be fixed, either in the docs or in the API, it'd be good to fix that. Like, yeah, like what kind of error is that? Are you passing like the right data format or something? Is it expect like a tuple and you're passing a few values, or, you know, something weird like that? Huh. In that case, I would do a project search for handle message move, just to see if anything else is doing that. Or, you know, like look in the spaz code to see like what node messages it does do, like node handle message. Maybe that was renamed and maybe the docs are out of date. Oh, for chest stuff. I mean, like the whole reason I put in chest there is kind of as a catch-all for future stuff. So I know right now the only thing you get in chest basically is tickets and a few tokens, but I think it'd be fun to have other stuff in there too. Just like have the small chance to get, I don't know, a skin or something. If you win like a big chest from say winning a tournament or something, it'd be cool to have, you know, potentially bigger prizes in there. I tried to make it very open-ended so that, you know, we can just add more stuff there in the future, or if there's other fun like currencies we could add. But yeah, my thought would be, yeah, having more variety of the chest is more just like that's like a it's almost just like a means to an end. It's like the transport system. It's like it's just a place for us to put cool stuff. Now it's the idea of coming up with cool stuff. And for me, from like a game developer perspective, it gives me a way to like charge people to open chests faster. I feel like it's a mostly understood, not too sleazy way of getting people to pay a bit for the game. So I feel like it works well for me. It doesn't feel too sleazy, and it's just like a single place where I can add transactions. Long time for me to write UI in Python. Not too long. I mean, the part of that is Bomb Squad's UI API is just terrible. So it takes longer than it would if it had a nice, like, clean API. But it's not the end of the world. There's enough like API code, or there's enough UI code out there that it's decently easy to copy a bit that works and then change it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it does look good. Like when you have a nice API built, it just like I wish it were easier to build that API. But that's always something we could add in the future. I'm always thinking about like UI v2, essentially, like if we made a more polished way to make those same UIs that didn't require as much, fudging numbers and experimenting. Because at this point, there's been enough UIs made where I kind of feel like there's a certain set of things that has to be done to make a good UI, and if we could just automate some of those, like that'd be cool. Like a big thing for me is wiring up buttons to neighboring buttons. I feel like it's kind of manual sometimes. If you want a good UI, is basically you have to tell it like, okay, when you press left from this button, it should go to this button. When you press down from this button, it should go to this button. Like that doesn't really happen automatically in a lot of cases. It'd be cool if that were more automatic, like less polishing was required. So that's always a hope for UI v2. Like left, right, up, down widgets, stuff like that. Like when I first wrote the UI way back in the day, it didn't even have like directional selection. I think it was just like, if you pressed left or right, it just went to like the next widget. So it was almost like a tab button. And so the directional stuff was a little bit added on. Oh, I got the little snowball shooter, yes. Life is complete. Oh no, I'm dead. That was the best 4 seconds of my life. Snowball. Oh no. Darn you, E328, you stole my snowball. See, just as feedback, I feel like that's kind of awesome to have a server where it's mostly vanilla like this, but there's like 1 or 2 little fun extra things. I feel like that kind of makes for a fun, a little change of pace, but it's not like completely overwhelming and confusing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the servers that have their own completely sets of power-ups and then like do everything differently. It's just that's more of like a learning curve. It's kind of neat to have just like sprinkle some new stuff into some familiar stuff. In a case like this where it's like a bunch of people who've never played it before, That topic always comes up, like how to make new stuff learnable. Oh yeah. Yeah, it does seem like in general the kicking system and all that is kind of broken a bit. I'm hoping squads will fix that to a degree, because squads will basically be like individual rounds where like if you leave the round, you've abandoned your squad and you're a bad person. You know, you can't come back, stuff like that. It'll just be like a different dynamic. Or maybe like if you get, maybe like you can come back, but it'll just like reconnect you to your character, you know, instead of letting you like change game rules and start over and stuff like that. 'Cause, yeah, I think it's good to avoid accidental disconnects. Like if someone accidentally disconnects, if it's possible to let them come back, like that'd be great. I'm kind of hoping to do that for squads mode, you know, where like if you disconnect, like your dude is still there, just like standing, and so you can come back if that was actually an accident, or maybe you time out or something. But your team is going to be like angry at you. Sorry, I'm not here. Whenever I'm talking, you can tell I'm like, can't do two things at once. I'm just running in circles punching. Snowball! All right. Leave me and my snowball alone. Oh, they're coming for my snowball. No. No. My snowball. Did you ever think you'd have the opportunity at some point to add Bomb Squad to MetaQuest 2 or Modern VR? I would love to, but it does make me... There is still technically the Rift Rift version for the few people out there who still have PC VR setups. You still can get the game on the Oculus Store, or whatever is the Meta Store for desktop these days. The one thing, though, is that was basically a full port of the game into VR, and I don't know if that would be the right method going forward. Like, I could get that updated for, like, Quest 2 or, you know, modern VR systems. The downside to that, though, is that, like, basically every map has to be kind of updated to, you know, be full 360 degrees, or at least have, like, a background that wraps around you, and just not look totally broken in VR. And I kind of feel like that is unrealistic to ask, you know, mod maps to do that. So I'd wonder if going forward it would be, you know, make sense to have like a stripped down version of the game for VR, or something that's more VR centric. You know, maybe there's some sort of like hand input to it. I'm not sure what that would be. You know, like maybe like a... We talked about like an AR variation of the game where it's like you're playing on a tabletop or something. Maybe it would make sense for VR too, something similar like that. So from a technical standpoint, it wouldn't be too much work to get the game working in VR again. I just don't know if it would make sense to have, you know, plan for like a gameplay that is kind of specific to VR, if that makes sense. So anyway, long answer to that. It is fun to play the game in VR though, even if it's just like the regular game. It's just neat to see like see little dudes running around on a tabletop. It feels like you're playing a board game or something. First person view. Everyone always asks the first person view. I really don't think... I mean, if people want to make first person games out of it or something, go for it. But it's like, for me, that's not the purpose of the game. You know, it's like it's more like a group game with a bunch of people on like a game board. You know, it's more like playing a board game or something. Just a live action board game. So yeah, what I'm saying there, I probably won't be making a first-person game anytime soon. But if people want to make mods and stuff, I'm supportive. Ooh. Oh, Discount 231. Oh, here we go. All right. I got the health while having full health. That was helpful. No, no, no. See, that's fun. I love like that egg appears. You just want to get that egg. So yeah, good. Oh, egg. All right, there we go. Oh wait, did I? Oh no. This is terrible. All right, at least I got one of them. But yeah, that's super cool dynamic, especially on this mode. Because it's like getting a little helper dude, like that kind of makes a difference. And it can persevere. And plus they're just bots, so like it's not that scary. You know, most people can take out a bot. Uh-oh. E328. You're up, man. We meet again at last. Oh, I guess that was just the bot. Okay, sorry. Oh, our bots. Bot war. Oh, it's like a wizard battle. Oh. Oh, I ran out of snow? So sad. Ah. Yeah, this will definitely have to be our last. We were way over time once we get the grand conclusion to this. Not that there's any official like length these have to be or anything, but it seems like 2 hours is always a good thing to aim for. Which, as we're coming up to the end here, reminds me, what is something goofy we've talked about that could be a good title for this week's episode? Any ideas? Temple OS. Is Temple OS the one that like that one guy wrote himself? It's all like quirky and strange, but kind of amazing. That's cool. I was watching a video about that. Oh, this is epic. Last snowball fight. Oh my gosh, this is everything I've dreamed of. Wait. I'm so happy right now. Oh wow. Oh, okay, it's like a death match. Okay, cool. I didn't know. I was like, am I dead? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I feel like Snowball, there's got to be something Snowball related. It's the theme of this week is Snowballs. So silly. It's like a truce for a moment. What was that? This brings out just like the inner child in me. I just want like throwing snowballs and running around. It's like, wee. Shareware is so rare. Is that even a thing? Like, are there any games released that call themselves shareware? I feel like that's a name I've not heard in a long time. When I hear shareware, I think like Wolfenstein in like 1992 or something, you know, just like super old PC games. Oh, Quake 3? Okay, yeah. I mean, in effect, like free-to-play games are kind of like shareware, sort of, you know? It's like play it for free, but then you gotta pay at some point. Though I guess it's different a little bit. Shareware is, shareware is more of just like a demo. It's a good button masher. Give my thumbs a workout. Oh, that's not nice. This kick system is broken. Who wrote it? Someone was just jealous of my epic snowball skills. Oh, I'm dead. Can kick everyone with I can kick everyone with a. Actually, I don't think I really have a way to kick everyone. This is on a private server, so I have no power here. I haven't given myself any like super cool, powerful backdoors or something to like kick anyone from any server. Yeah. I was always joking I should do that, just some sort of like epic power where I can like, you know, poke a button and just like smite someone with a lightning bolt. The problem would be like someone would hack that and then like everyone would be smiting everyone with lightning bolts. There's a little lag here and there, but it's worth it for snowballs. Alright, come on, Team Blue. We got this. Yeah! Pingu wins! Good job, Blue Team. Good job, everyone. Well, that was fun. All right, got to bounce for the day, though. So, yeah, thanks for hosting. Move me back to the corner. No one puts Eric in a corner. Kicking Eric. No, I feel like I do have to incorporate snowballs into the title in some sort. So we'll see, unless I have a change of heart. Estimated time for releasing 1.8. I'm hoping a matter of a few months or something with all these side quests building up. Hard to say for sure, though. Also, I imagine something as big as this with asset packages and all the broken compatibility, I'm going to guess there will probably be like test builds or, you know, some sort of like opt-in thing. You might be able to like host 1.8 servers, you know, significantly before 1.8 is released, because I feel like we want to iron out kinks and things like that. So it might be like 1.7 point something will start to have asset pack functionality. You just have to, you know, like it won't become like official, and you'll have to opt into it, you know, and then 1.8 it'll become official. So what I'm saying is it might not be like a strict line in the sand. It might not just be like, okay, it's available this date. It'll just like fade into availability. And then the 1.8 release would just be like when everyone gets it by default. I kind of expect it to be that way for 2.0, by the way. Like I think the 2.0 features, I think 1.9 will mostly have all the 2.0 features. It's just some of them will probably be like opt-in. You know, like squads mode won't be like the default mode. It'll just be like an extra mode you can go to. But then 2.0, the plan is that like squads mode will be front and center. That's kind of when it'll be like ready for the public. So anyway, I should stop rambling. It's super late. I need to get back to work. So it's been fun, everybody. As always. So yeah, I'll probably should be able to have the next one of these in a few weeks, 2 weeks, maybe 3 if I'm busy. We'll see. But yeah, been a lot of fun. So thanks everyone for joining, and I will talk to you guys all next time. So peace out.